Hey guys, so I'm back. Probably looks a little different because I'm using Zoom. If you can't see, I have boxes in the back because I'm in the middle of moving. Anyways, that's not what we're here to talk about. It seems that when it comes to all deaf digital, once again, the call is coming from inside the house. So, for those of you who don't know, T.I. recently denied the allegations against him and his wife of drugging and raping women. And there are a lot of women that have come out to accuse him and his wife of coercing them into taking drugs and then having sex with them. As we should all know, there is no consent under the usage of drugs. Sabrina Peterson is a close associate of theirs. And it's really weird because, in defense of this claim, that basically Sabrina said that T.I. held a gun to her head in front of her children. And in response to that, Tiny said they were just his uncle 2 years ago, which does not deny the claim, especially because people have abusive uncles all the time. Now, since we're talking about T.I., the man who likes to use big words and monitor his daughter's hymen, I am on the high belief scale that he would use violence to threaten women. I do believe that him and his wife coerced women into taking drugs and then used that to take advantage of them. I know that things aren't quite as cut and dry as absolute rape, but I do believe that sexual assault and sexual harassment are real. Now, I also want to bring this up. I mentioned all deaf digital because T.I. is an investor in ADD. And for those of you who don't know, All Deaf Digital was actually created by super sexual abuser Russel Simmons. So not only is one of the recent All Deaf Digital investors being accused of sexual abuse, you have the founder of All Deaf Digital, Russel Simmons, who is currently avoiding the United States to avoid being arrested. He is apparently in Bali, but also has a completely new digital talent agency because the sexual abuse will not stop you from being a gatekeeper to society. So just talking about those two men, it's easy to be like, okay, that's like two bad apples out of a bunch. It's not that big of a deal. The whole network as a whole is probably fine, right? Probably not. This is just my this is just my interpretation of what I've read in news and outlets and whatnot. But it doesn't seem like All Deaf Digital had just a leadership problem. It had many problems, like treating an entire company like a startup and not having an HR department. So even before those layoffs a couple of years ago, All Deaf Digital had some controversies, such as the Harriet Tubman skit, where they had, slave rape as a seduction skit. From that era, who stuck around? And aren't they perpetuating this cycle of abuse on women and general misogyny? Because if we think about it, the most obvious people that were from then and came back now are Patrick Cloud, Tahir Moore, KevOnStage, Meg Scoop, and then they've brought Tony Baker and more. Cynthia and J Rock are back. Precious is more active. But for the people who are creatively credited, it was mostly Patrick, Kevin, and Doboy, from what I remember. Now, the reason I'm bringing this up is because when All Deaf Digital came back, it was obviously centered around the ADD squad. The big five were Patrick, Tahir, Meg, Kev, and Doughboy. So that allowed them to stay a part of the brand no matter who owned the content, because obviously these five people do not own any of the content on any of the All Deaf Digital sites. There's a big reason why Kevin's doing his own app. There's a big reason why Tahir has a number of his own shows and why everyone's doing their own thing. Now, more on Kevin later, because he's making some weird decisions, and I need to know what you guys think. But back to the content creators. My point is that if you may not already have seen it, is that Patrick Cloud is heavily misogynistic, and some would even say colorist. Now, I'm going to share my screen and show just a couple of examples of what I'm talking about. Now, what a lot of people think about when they say that Patrick Cloud doesn't like Black women is this segment in Roast Me where he says a bad joke.
Hey, Patrick Coochie Stank. I did not sign up for that. You need a mindset, nigga. That nigga Boo got on a Serena Williams wig. Pat bought a lesbian a wiener dog.
Okay, so that's not even the clip I came here for, but I mean, just in that alone, it's like the need to joke on Black women's looks in Roast Me. It's like, why is comparing Pat to a woman so funny? It's literally done in almost every video.
Alright, man, we gonna switch to high seat, man. Get your Lisa Bonet looking at us. Yeah, I'm about to go fight Captain Hook. Hey, Q's lips look like black girl pussy. Oh. We know you ain't fucking no black bitches, man.
Correct. So yeah, that was him joking about the female anatomy while also being called a woman in a derogatory way. So that's super not misogynistic at all. I wonder where I can find the content where everyone just expresses their love and joy of Black women. Like, which video is that? Does anyone have the link to the video that's like completely uplifting to women? Any video where they don't compare a man to a woman as a fun little joke because women are inferior? Or where they don't treat women as inferior? Or fill in the blank. So I just want to show that because I think it's important to remember that even though the people who are running the channel are under these allegations, they are certainly not stopping the perpetuation of stereotypes against women and basically ongoing hate of women. Okay, so for those of you who don't know, I already touched on how Patrick Cloud is misogynistic after they did like a video this summer about Meg Thee Stallion and Tory Lanez, how Tory Lanez shot Meg Thee Stallion. And so I'm gonna go ahead and show that piece now. But just to say that from that original post, he did tweet that he did an apology video for those who felt offended. That's not an apology. And the issue won't be addressed again, which is not acknowledging the misogyny in it, and that they're on to new videos and topics. So that's cute. But is it really genuine when I look at the video in which I called out his misogynistic comments and his reaction to it is 3 crying face emojis? Am I supposed to be like, oh yeah, that was a genuine apology? Really told me that you are apologetic? Another thing is that he's just plain weird when it comes to women. Like, that wasn't the only video he commented on. He also said, LMAO, this channel, only popular videos are making fun of us, but we are the ones bashing. This channel weird AF. Yeah, he's bashing women on a near constant basis, but this video wasn't about me bashing anyone. It was about, if anything, I bashed the new normal. And me and Doboy already talked about that, so yeah, I just don't think that they take allegations that women have against their employees very seriously, which is evident on their homepage, all def, TI, right there, interviews with children, love that for his underage rape allegations. And oh look, Tory Lanez, love that he's currently in the court system for shooting Meg Thee Stallion and that he's right there. I would love to Google the rest of these rappers, but I fear more disappointment. All Def Digital and all their platforms pretty much produces misogynistic content because their creators are misogynistic and benefit from their misogynistic behavior, resulting in a toxic work environment. No, these things are not mutually exclusive. I just thought you'd like to know. Now, the last thing I kind of want to talk about on the All Def Digital perspective in this video is KevOnStage and his media app. So I'm kind of in this weird position of being a content creator but not monetizing from it. And so to an extent, I can see why, obviously, since he doesn't own anything at All Def Digital, that he would like to create his own content platform. However, the problems arise when you realize that he's almost entirely crowdfunded. And while that sounds great if you're a politician, I'm kind of wondering how long he plans to be held up on by like donations, basically, because it's getting to a point of being kind of rude. Like, people already mentioned it during Righteous and Ratchet. It's like, I pay Patreon, I give donations, and anything can just end whenever I want to. And you're like being told that you're investing in Black entertainment, but you don't really get any of the investments. It's not like stock. You don't actually profit from investing in KevOnStage. So it feels a little icky. I know that like he has private investors and they haven't really disclosed any of that information, but I assume it's like Tahir, Tony, Angel, but it's just very weird to have him be like donation based for so long. It's also weird because he's showing off his like Maserati, his new house, he's paying Josh enough to have a Tesla in his own home, and yet he's saying that he bought like a studio and they're gonna need $30,000 more to turn it into a real studio, and make sure to go on Patreon and make sure to download the app, and we're gonna get all the platforms. And it's like, it sounded really cool at first. I was like, oh wow, he's like building his own majesty. But the thing is, it's like, as much as people shit on Tyler Perry, Tyler never had to ask for donation. I don't know, how do you guys feel about it? Are you uncomfortable giving money to KevOnStage? Do you want something more concrete when you sign up for Patreon? I don't know. I personally subscribe to a lot of people on Patreon just because I live for podcasts. But I didn't have the Stage Crew Patreon for very long. Here's the thing, is kind of like, you know, I can't really finish the episodes lately. I don't know, something rubs me the wrong way about Tahir. Maybe it's from like hearing the stories of his childhood, but I'm looking like, were you a pimp? I don't know. The whole group is kind of giving me ick vibes now. And I'm wondering if I'm alone, or if like everyone kind of sees that. It's definitely hard to say if a creator should stay independent or go off and make their own. It's just the way that people invest money into themselves versus their work can be really misconstrued, or the way that people invest in themselves versus their work when being crowdfunded really sticks out when you're the one paying for it. I'm definitely turning off the comments at first because I know people hate hearing anything negative about their funny people, but I mean, why not? Thanks for watching. Have a good day. Hopefully next time you see me, I will have a cuter background. If not, what are you gonna do? It's free.